Hello and welcome to day 113 of Facebook Live. My name is Jessica Lozano and I'm a women's relationship and feminine embodiment mentor. And I help women have the most extraordinary relationships with the love of their life. So today, I want to talk to you about the sacred union path. Because the sacred union path is a path of your most highest expression. And the path of your most highest expression, number one, it's not something you're going to fulfill 100% on your own, right? Especially as human beings we are all like relational. We have each other, right? This is something that we need each other to keep growing. But it is a requirement for you. So with saying that, with you and this sacred union partner of yours, it's going to take you even deeper than you could take yourself because of the relational aspect of relationship, because each one of you are going to reflect back to each other expansion and the shadows, but the shadows are meant to work with together to evolve and expand together. Unlike other relationships where it's very much more of an internal sovereign embodiment that you are doing, like it's almost like it's more of a solo path that you're on, which is a requirement for sacred union. It's a requirement for you to be in your most authentic expression. It's a requirement for you to be sovereign. It's also a requirement for you to release whatever timeline you have in your mind that I need to have him by this date. I need to have him by this. I need to be married by this. I need to have children by this. Because sacred union is about your most authentic expression and living and following your soul-led life. And every single step of you following your soul-led life will lead you closer and closer to this partner. And the other reason that we want to let go of this timeline is because it's not just about you. It's also about him and his highest expression and where he is going through and all the things that he has to overcome, all the initiations that he's going through, just as you're going through, that will eventually at the right time bring you guys together. In whatever time and way that it be's, and it will feel like this magical, like, whoosh. You will have signs. You will have signs. You will know. It will be a full body yes, and you will have signs when this one partner comes into your life. So in this highest expression of you, it's about you awakening to your most authentic self and you detaching from needing a man to fulfill you or to complete you, right? Because that is the story that a lot of us are given, that we are giving growing up, that you need another man, you need someone else to complete you. Like, it's the stories that we see in the movies, it's a story that we grew up in as children. It's all of these stories that we need somebody else to complete you. And therefore, we feel that we need to have someone to complete us, which most of us get on that idea, and then we realize, like, holy shit, that's codependency. Holy shit, I can't be my authentic self if I'm thinking that somebody else completes me, because I am attached to them. I'm attached to that person and to that love. Therefore, I will do whatever I need to do that's not in my alignment to keep that relationship. Codependency, not your authentic self, not your highest expression, small expression, confined, bending over backwards, not your true self. That's why you can't have an attachment to needing that person to be in your life. It comes from a yearning and a deep desire deep in your soul, where this man and this wanting of this relationship comes from this overflowing of your heart, not from the scarcity of your mind. Because when you lead it through the scarcity of your mind, the wounded inner child, and all of these things that I need this person, that I cannot be brave without this person, that I cannot feel worthy without this person, then you haven't created that initiation for you to fulfill that within yourself. And that's what the journey is about. The journey is about finding your full completion within you, finding the full courage within you, finding the full love within you, finding your most authentic expression within you, finding full acceptance within you, all parts of you, all parts of you. And same thing that this person is also your man is also finding within himself too. This has been a conversation that I've been having with my clients, especially with one of my clients who had a reading, and she's had a few readings, and she's like, I never hear anyone talk about relationships in my readings. It's always about something else. And she's like, she was getting a little discouraged about it. And I was like, that doesn't mean you cannot have what you deeply desire. What it means is maybe there was probably attachment. So let's go on digging in there. What's your attachment to needing this person or needing validation from the readers or from your spirit guides or for whatever? Perhaps the reason why they're not talking about it is because as you follow this is what's going to lead you to that person to align with you. Just because it's not in a reading doesn't mean that it's not for you. It's probably just not what you need to hear in the moment, which readings give you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. So in this path, in this journey that you're taking, is a path of finding the completion within yourself. And within that completeness that you feel within you, in that worthiness that you feel within you without a man, in that enoughness that you feel without a man, in that level of inner union that you've created without a man, in that freedom that you felt within yourself without a man, in that authentic expression that you felt without a man, actually creates the full vibration, frequency, to match you with a man who's in that same feeling within himself. A man, if you want a man who knows all of who he is, you have to know all of who you are as well. That's the only way that it goes. Now, with each other, there is more that expands into it. But you have to take yourself deep in this journey within yourself in order for him to liberate you even further. And it's just by his beingness. It's not by what he's doing to you, right? It's who he is and his masculine core and how he shows up for you that liberates you more, because you will unlock more within each other. You will. There's only so much you can do within yourself. And you within him. He will be on this path of challenge. He will be on this quest, right? This quest to be the full man that he can be. And then eventually, there's only so far that he can take of yourself, because your desires crack him open to rise higher into his truth as a man, into his greatness as a man. This is why union is so powerful, because we each keep going more and more. This is if you are templated for this. There are some women who are not templated for this. There are women who are more maybe like a gypsy type of energy, where it's not about one person for the rest of their lives. Like there are some women who are not templated for that, and that's okay. Because that's why I'm saying it has to be a deep desire within you that you feel. And then you will be on a journey of initiating yourself, or life will be initiating you, to not lose yourself within another. Because as a devotional woman, that is one of the shadows of it. Blind devotion. He needs you to be in your full knowing of you. He needs you to be in your oracular truth. He needs you to be to be embodied in your dark feminine. He needs you to be also in your own inner masculine. He needs that from you, and you need from him his stoic and grounded and firm energy as like the mountain. You need from him his ability to make you feel safe in order for him to be that safe container. You need from him to allow you to be authentic and free and to share your truth. You need from him his ability to continue to rise and lead all the way through to be a better man for himself and for you. This is, each person needs to have their own self discovered. Now, this is why, not that this is why, but this is why you need to let go of the timelines, because you don't know what journey he's going on, and you don't know where you need to be in order to be. Let me say this backwards and in another way. Some women are single for a very long time until they find their sacred union partner. And at times it leads them to a place of where they're like dropping down to their knees and like, where is this man? Sometimes to the point of complete surrender. Like, okay, if this is not meant for me, I release it. And sometimes that needs to happen to let go of that attachment, to needing to have it, that little last dark shadows in the bottom. But there are women who are just know and understand that is part of their path, and that eventually at the right time, they will be met. Which is why you have to let go of that timeline, because you just don't know. Like, there are things that you need to do on your own before you meet him. And there's things that he needs to do on his own before he meets you. And it doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with him. It doesn't mean that there's anything that you're not enough. It doesn't mean that you're just going to accomplish and live everything on your own, and with him it's just going to be blah or boring or whatever. It doesn't mean anything bad about you or wrong about you. It doesn't mean anything about you. And that's part of the point of this journey. That's a big, huge part of this point on this journey. So for me, for Ron and I'm going to give you like kind of like timelines. I broke up with my ex the first time like around 24. Ron was married, or was in a relationship, married for, I think in a total for 10 years. Married for 4. So if I was 24, he's 4 years and a half older than me, then he is 28. He's right in the middle of this marriage, right? If I would have left this guy at that and stayed single until until that point, I would have been single for still some years. Let's say if Ron would have left when he divorced his wife, his ex-wife, that we would have met there. I still would have been single for a few years. But here's the thing. Ron also dated 3 other women before he met me. And I was in this relationship and going on through my own series of initiations up until 29. Right? I had to go through a lot of initiation, because at 24, I still would not be able to hold a relationship like Ron, because I was a hot mess. I was at a turning point at that time, for sure. It was a fall to my knees moment. It was one of the darkest moments of my life. I was at a turning point, but I would not have been able to hold the frequency of what Ron had at the time that I met him. Maybe if we would have met earlier, we still would have been able to be a match for whatever reason. Hold each other. He would not, and knowing Ron's personality, I was a fiery cracker, like out of line fiery cracker that it would not have, So I had to go through all of my initiations, and I did it with one person. That's just my story. I did it with one person all the way through. And Ron had to go through his series of initiations and through all the girlfriends until he finally came to that point too with him where he was just like, you know what? This is not what I want anymore. I want something honest and I want beauty. That's what he said. I asked him the other day, I'm like, what did you ask? Like, you have to get to that point. I know you called me in too. So what was it that you asked? What was it that happened? He's like, well, just came to the point where just like, I'm done with this. I just want honesty and beauty. He totally got freaking honest with me, let me tell you. I can be very brutally honest to the point of offensive, which I know this about me. So that's just one example. And there's many, 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 many other examples of sacred union partners where it's like they were single for years, they gave up, and then they had to follow through on something that their soul was telling them to do. Once they fell through on that, once they followed through on that and delivered that, boom, right into that union that they come into. Another woman that's one of my mentors, like high priestess, all the things. She was single for years, had gone through a series of initiations, had like her womb removed, all of the things, goes to Egypt on a thing and meets him, marries him like this. Same thing with the other example that I gave. She meets him, they marry like this. And you have other partners, some that are more in the public eye. Audrey Marcus, he was polyamory first, and then he had to experience that. I'm not sure exactly what his story was, and he realized he really wanted monogamy, and then he met Violana, which is the one. He had to go through all of that, and she had to go through all of her things too. So it's real. You had to come to a place of releasing attachment to it. And it is a journey. Because for some time, you're like, I'm good. I'm this. I'm fine. I love myself. I'm like, yes, I'm following all the things. And there will come a point where you feel that longing and that yearning. And that's where it's like, are you saying that there's something wrong with you? Because if you are, that's where you need to hold yourself deeper with more love. And know that he's out there for you. You just have to continue with yourself, continuing following what your soul says. Continue following what your soul is leading you to. And sometimes it's a purpose, your life purpose that you're fulfilling. And every single step of the way, as you continue to be more in that truth, more in that authentic expression on this journey, your journeys will collide. Your journeys will merge together. To continue to create together, to continue to love, to continue to heal, to continue to create something different in the world. Sacred union is about making a difference on the planet in whatever unique way that means for you. Maybe it's just between you and your man and and the children that you raise, and how that just heals and brings more authentic, higher consciousness children into the world, and whatever it is that they do, this creates a ripple effect. Or if there's a purpose that you and him are meant to fulfill that is more of service to humanity, it doesn't matter. But there is a higher meaning between you and your partner that's for the greater good of all. This is why sacred union is a path of breaking generational trauma, healing your core wounds, knowing that your core wounds are going to get activated with him. But together, it heals your inner child in a lighter format, where it's like, wow, this is how love is supposed to feel. This is how love is supposed to feel. You have to be willing to face your deepest fears every single way, including with him, and him with you. But walking through those moments makes a radical difference in your relationship, because you're faced with something and it's like, are you going to abandon yourself for him? Is he going to abandon himself for you? Or are you going to be in truth and see how this rearranges together? Or be willing to let that person go and say, I love you so much, I don't want you to compromise your truth, and staying with you. That's the level of unattachment you have to have. Will it hurt? Yeah. But you have to go to that place, because that's where that deep attachment lies. Usually you always come out from my experience of what I'm seeing from other partners. It's almost like you have to go there and you walk through that portal together, knowing that maybe you are together or maybe you're separate, but you walk together and you find out, and usually they're always together. I know partners that have separated for about 2 years because they met young, and then one was going off to travel, and even her spirit guide said, you guys gonna have a great relationship for about a year and then you're gonna break up. She's like, what? No, we're not. And they did. They broke up, came back together, now they're married, and she's going for pregnancy. She's trying to get pregnant. So every path is unique, and you cannot judge, and you cannot judge yourself or think that there's something wrong with you because he is not here. If he is not here, you have initiations to go through. That's part of the journey. And you have to live your life, and you have to love yourself deeply and unconditionally, and accept yourself fully and completely as you are. And so does he. And then you come together. When the journeys are meant to cross. That's not for you to decide. It's just not. So, if you are a devotional woman and you're like, yes, I really want this kind of love. Yes, I'm really on this journey. I really want to continue. I want to break generational patterns. I want to create a new identity that can hold this level of love. I want to be on that frequency. I feel that. I feel like, yes, like me and my partner, there's going to be something bigger. There's going to be something bigger within us. I've opened up 4 spaces available for one-on-one mentorship or for one-on-one intensives. And this is for the woman who is healing from toxic and narcissistic relationship, who wants to become the woman who is adored by your king. This is a relationship of a sacred union, love affair, built on respect and adoration, built on freedom and love, built on willing to go deep together and expand together, and willing to live on the side of truth. That truth will always come through in your relationship. If this is what you deeply desire, creating this inner union within you, this inner security within you that can hold this level of relationship, message me, as this is a 6-month container. I only have 4 spots available, and let's have a conversation and see if this is the perfect container for you. So just message me, Sacred Union, and we will get to talking. All right, beautiful. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon.